Welcome everyone, here is the completed Wizard's Tower. Now this is just under 2 feet tall, it's about 22 inches. It's very tall, as you can see here. It's very difficult to get this in one particular shot without pulling back and kind of losing all the details on this particular camera. But here you can see I even have the Demon's Portal next to it. So you can see kind of a comparison here. The Demon Portal comes up to about here on the unit. And let's take a look at this and we'll go over some general things. I mean, it's a very interesting and cool kind of design, these towers that Playmobil's come out with several of these. And of course, this has all sorts of little extras and features and all sorts of extra pieces and accessories. And I'm going to go over these individually later, but here they are as a general to show you right now. Here again is the Demon's Portal. The general fit of everything, the pieces were there, the instructions are good, as is general with Playmobil. There's a few things, of course, that I would improve. It's still on the crude kind of kiddie side to a large extent. I would like a lot more carving on this, mold detail in all of this, even the bricks and everything else. Seems to me that these are kind of on the crude side. The wood and everything else, I think, could be done a lot better. They still give you the goofy stickers, which I'll show you as well. I don't like the stickers. As far as I'm concerned, they're very juvenile again. They kind of make the unit look kind of junky. So I didn't put any stickers on mine, but of course they do come with the unit, and I showed you those in the other. The door is kind of nice, which does lock, as you can see here. Can't pull this open until you actually turn it, which is kind of nice. And then you can... It's hard to do this with one hand. Then you can pull it open. You can pull open the doors, which is kind of nice. And this is the main entrance. Now, you also notice something that I think would have been nice, is that there is no bottom to this. This is the wood they're showing you. It would be nice to have a plastic plate that this piece here fitted into on top of that, so you actually had a filled-in bottom. I think that would have been a nice touch instead of having whatever is showing through underneath. The doors are, again, these big doors with a nice little lock, but I think, as I said, I think they look a little on the crude side, but let's leave that open for everybody's purview. And when you look inside, this is what you get. There's the ladder here, which I showed you before. This goes up to the next level, and there is a few little features there. And there's lots you can put in here that they give you. Tables, cauldrons, books, chairs, etc. I don't know if anybody really plays with that. That's almost doll-housey type of things. But it depends. I'm not sure if kids would be interested in that or not. I'm not, for my physical war gaming that I'm going to be using this for. Is a tower that's going to be shot at with projectiles and more of a real war gaming. So as we go up here, you'll see they have these fairly nice little gargoyles. And again, they're white. They're detailed okay again. I mean, they're not bad, but generally with something like this, you put a little bit of black glaze over it so they look a little better, filling in the details. It's not too badly carved, but, you know, again, I think they could be better. But that's a nice little touch of putting gargoyles on there. You go up to the next level, and this is, of course, where you can, let me stand up here. This is, of course, where you can put actual figures standing here, etc. It does have 2 cannons that come with this. Now, there's a nice little feature that the tower itself turns. So you basically cover up, or this is a protective area so that people cannot come up and invade you, if you want to look at it as a more of a castle type thing. That you close off, and when you want to bring someone up or someone to go down, you just move it, and it moves very well. So the plastic was constructed well, so that functions well. Now, the third level, of course, is this level, and this has a lot of cool stuff in it as well. First of all, you have on this level, and I guess I can I can get a proper view of this. This has one of their particular cannons, which you get 4 of these things, which are pretty long, but this is a, I don't know, you call this like a pencil eraser type rubber. It's thick, it's fairly heavy, which is good. And we'll be demonstrating how those fire as well here. But you get 4 of those. You've got 2 cannons. There's your other cannon. And of course, you have access to put soldiers to shoot from there. There's the opening in here, which actually has a spyglass in it. This is a spyglass that's adjustable. So you can observe the area, see if there's any approaching people. And again, this is kind of how you twist it, but of course that's twisting the whole second and third section. But you have this section up here, and you have this big open door. Again, this is good for putting figures in and out. And of course, that's also good for practical wargaming because that's an entrance for projectiles to enter. And as I said, you have that kind of interesting, and let's turn this around a little and we'll show from the other side here. You have these little balcony areas, and they have these little special trap doors there, which I'll show you. What's interesting as a cool little detail is this actual scope here, the spyglass, even has a little insert. I think you can see that. It has a clear little plastic insert to imitate glass. It's kind of a nice little touch. It's good to see stuff like that. Too bad they don't put that touches into everything else. Of the overall look. Of course, when you go on top here, you've got this. These look very cool. And this is an actual energy of coming off here. This, again, serves to... Well, this actually serves to move, and let me see, I can show you that here. This, when you turn the top here, if I can get both, you'll see how the actual spyglass moves. And this kind of serves as a place to put figures and infantry and warriors up there as well. So that's kind of a neat little touch. You also, of course, have another cannon up there. And as I said, these are typically spring-loaded. There's a spring inside here, which is unfortunate because it's hard to modify these if you want to put stronger weapons in there. Because these are kept to a certain level, obviously, for safety of children. You got to remember, they claim this is for 4 to 10-year-olds. But this is a typical top of a castle type area, and there is room in here to put figures and other weapons if you wanted to, depending on how you're looking at this. So that's kind of nice. Here's another look. You can see this is what the floor of this looks like. This has those actual stickers that are already applied to the bottom of the floor there, and that is a floor. But again, I don't like the stickers. Look at how goofy looking they look. Very crude. And we'll get into that with some of the accessories. And it's just old style making that they could improve these things. Now, what's kind of nice is a other little touch here. This is kind of a gargoyle head, a little on the crude side. They have shields here. Now, all of these little balconies have a little trap door in them. So you can open the trap door here, and whatever is there is going to fall. I guess, if I don't know, you should be able to see that. So when you open the trap door, that opens there, and whatever in there will fall out. Now, this is important because of the fact that they do have included with the sets are kind of energy bombs, or whatever you want to call them. And they don't really tell you where to put these too easily. You kind of have to figure it out yourself or look carefully in the designs. That's another minor criticism, which, they should show you a little clearer of how these work. But you get 4 of these, which I'm going to pull out right now. You get 4 of these, and these are kind of energy bombs or whatever they're supposed to do that you drop down on anybody who's trying to invade your castle. You can see they have these kind of little faces on them. So I don't know if they're spirits or whatever they're supposed to be. They don't really clarify it. Looks like you may be able to stick them on the hands of a figure because they have kind of a little grasp in there. Not sure. We'll test that out with the figure stuff later. But it shows in the instructions or demonstrating that these go in the second balcony, basically the third floor, that they just kind of sit here. And, you know, they could have made that lip a little better to hold these things. And what you're supposed to do is, let's see if we can get a fairly good view of this. You open this up, and guess what? These fall out. I'm pretty sure everybody was able to see those. And that's the function of doing that. I think they could have made more ramps, places where these things could have popped out better in this. And remember, this is a very expensive toy. So the point is that, you know, all the features on here are nice and interesting and different than most, but this is a simple little drop feature. And I think they could have had balls that roll down and maybe pop out or other things. Could have been a lot of fun things added to this that would have made it a better set. So, you know, you're looking at 125, and who knows what these will retail once they get outside of Europe, but right now, European price for this, US, is about 125, 110, depending on what you get it for. So it's a lot of money for what is a 2-inch thing of plastic. Lots of nice little features. This could give somebody hours and hours and years of play. Then it is based in sword and sorcery, wizardry. You could use this with anything Harry Potter. So this is kind of a takeoff of Harry Potter, Game of Thrones type of stuff. So if you have any of those, and there are people that make sets based on them, particularly these model brick sets that make King of Thrones sets, which are quite nice. But again, why they have all these bricks to put together seems to be the thing now. I've always have preferred to let's play with it, let's not build it unless it's a building toy, but that's my thing. So here we are with the gates again, and then you can just close these and it will lock, which is kind of nice, which means it just can't be pulled open here. You also have on the sides here these windows that you assemble do open. So they which is kind of cool. You can use this as for more play value. Obviously, these are good entrants for projectiles. You can put figures that can shoot out from there. So it's kind of neat. The back looks like this, which has a good wide opening, so you can place things in here by moving your hands and stuff. But again, I would have liked to have a bottom on that. And you have another, you've got another window opening here. And all these fit well. They were easy to put together, so that's all nice in the manufacturing, which you would expect from professional toy makers. You know, nobody makes anything better than Mattel. I mean, the actual castle from Gray Skull and the Masters of the Universe made by Mattel is a great figure with all sorts of little things as well. Lots of weapon carts and everything else. And I would like to have seen more of that here. The kind of things they give you here are pretty mundane and kind of boring. I can't believe that a children would like this. Maybe a girl would like some of the stuff they give you here, but I can't see too many male children getting involved in this, so the accessories. So why not make more accessories, more weapons, more other things that people like so much? But it is nice that it seems the trend has been, and particularly with Playmobil, is that almost all of their sets have shooting cannons of some sort. So let's see how that shoots in general. See if I can get into a position here where you can kind of see it against a wall. Now, the cannons you put together, and they have, let me get my position here. I mean, some nice little features. They even have a little actual sight on there. So that's a sight for it. They show energy bolts coming off, and you insert the cannon into this holder, and the holder itself can go up and down. One of the problems is it doesn't, well, I guess you can turn it side to side as well. So that's kind of a nice feature, and the triggering button is right here. I want to just put it against the wall. I haven't really tested these to see what kind of force these springs put out. I don't know if we'll be able to tell or not. Well, it's not too bad, actually. You can't really tell, and they have these big rubber points at the end. So that's not bad. I mean, that's got enough force to potentially knock something over. And that's what you want to do for game value, whether you are using it as it is or if it's an advanced tool for practical wargaming. So, you can see those cannons again. As I said, they got these nice little cannon bolts. I don't know what you'd call these. And the head is heavy enough, but it is all rubber, so if it hits anything, it's really not going to hurt anybody. And secondly, they're big enough that it really shouldn't cause any problems with anybody. Even though there's a whole bunch of small parts on here, if you got kids that chew or put things in their mouths, well, these are a lot of choking hazards here, and that's why it's supposed to be 3 and up. But I thought 3-year-olds, you trust 3-year-olds with that? I don't know. So we're going to shoot this off again. Let's see if we can see it a little better. And so forth. So it's very hard, obviously, in the film there to see that. And, of course, you get another cannon up here. And let's try this cannon. It's the exact same cannon. There's no difference to it. I don't know if we can see a little more. And, again, it's a decent... looks like this cannon's a little weaker than the other one. But, you know, they do what their job is. You want serious catapulting practical wargaming, you need to use much stronger stuff. I even use airsoft guns and rifles and other things to actually use all of these things. Yeah, let me pick this up here. To get some serious stuff and where you can use your target practice in more of an efficient manner. Which is going to get you some force because, you know, all these little things don't put out much because they're so afraid of people hurting themselves with them. But, you know, you should wear glasses, safety glasses. You should be adults if you're doing the higher stuff, or you have to watch your children. Generally, if people are going to wear safety glasses and they're light, clear plastic safety glasses, you're not going to have any problems. But serious wargaming generally is not done by children, and I'm not sure where that breaks off. But, you know, kids are fairly sophisticated if they start getting up into that 10-year realm, so I don't know. So now here again, I'm going to show you, let's give you a comparison of the Demon Portal. And that's the problem with all these little things that get thrown around. And do you ever use them? Are you going to use these little things like candles and other things? I kind of doubt that. So here's the Demon Portal next to the Wizard's Tower. Basically, and this has a nice bottom on it, and it's actually wider than this is at the bottom. So this is much wider, and actually, in general, this is wider than this at the bottom, or very close, it appears to be. So, as you go up, you can see the difference. This is probably, you know, the Demon Portal is like 2 stories, while this is 3 stories. So, the Demon Portal comes up to here, and then you got a whole nother story of this. So, that's quite a height, which could be very good for fun factor and play factor. As well as practical wargaming, where you're trying to shoot at higher levels where things are a little more difficult to try and affect, and for putting certain actual armaments, personnel, etc. up there. So, and again, here's the big feature is the turning of this. And you can do it from here. This turn. So if you want to, and again, that's a good feature for play and wargaming, because now you can change this depending the attack. And as I said, this opens up this below. This is the feature they're giving you. And whatever you can do with them, play-wise or not, these, as I said, pull out, and what's under and behind here is nothing, so it'll drop down. They do say as well is that apparently they give you these treasure energy balls. I'm not sure what these signify again. They don't really give you much story, but these are supposed to go in this hidden compartment here. And again, this is a hidden compartment because when you have it like this, you can't see it. So if you want to access those because they're special tools or whatever, or some sort of energy to power the castle, so to speak, the tower, you would then have to move this, and that would cover the entrance, and it also covers it here again. So this is something that you would have to move in a particular fashion to be able to access. So this is a secret passage, which I kind of forgot to show you there until now, which is pretty cool. So that's another interesting area to add play value. So in general, I mean, it's a cool tower that can be used for many different things. You just really is up to your imagination. What's nice about it is that it is not fragile in any way to speak of. So, I mean, this can take some serious hitting if you're a practical wargamer shooting things at it, whether that's airsoft or other types of projectiles that you're shooting at it. So this is going to be able to take quite a little hit, which is good. The detail factor of more of a finite mold making with all the little details, well, it lacks that and makes what is basically cool design kind of crude. But, you know, that's what they want. It's not that they have decided to keep it to that level themselves. That would be something that I would change and make something a little more sophisticated, especially since toys are now developing into adult collectibles. They're cheap, they're inexpensive, they're fun, and they do now have value because so many people are collecting them. So that would be a recommended and a good change for everybody. Update your toys to be more adult friendly. And I think that would attract a lot more children as well. And again, here we go with the kind of added artwork they put on here. Well, to me, this just looks like crude junk. They should have copied things like King of Thrones and made some cooler actual stickers that go everywhere, and it kind of cheapens the whole unit. As far as I'm concerned, looking at that, I go, ugh. They do have some nice little touches, but again, this could have been much more detailed. Same thing with the gargoyles, which are on the front. And that's a nice little touch. I would like to see more of those, maybe different types all around, maybe on top here as well. Gargoyles are something that I enjoy and have been used extensively in Europe on all sorts of buildings. So gargoyles in itself is an amazing little area of research. But the whole idea is that these kind of little updates could be made easily. And of course, here's another door. I don't think I showed you this, a window. And of course, this opens as well. So this opens as well. So that's a nice little feature. Lots of little things on here, lots of things. Again, you get a shield up here as well, same ugly artwork. Even these doors, to me, look very crude. I think that could have been done much more detailed and much more interesting. And again, you print these by the millions. Once the artwork is done, it doesn't cost you anything, and doing better artwork, is that a cost? I'm not really sure it costs any more to make better artwork than it is to produce this junk artwork. And here's the gargoyles. Again, you can see these are fairly detailed. They could have been made a little better. It's all these detail things. Even this lock is kind of crude looking. Couldn't they made this to look a little better? Well, they could have. It's very big and kind of thing. So, but I mean, in general, it looks okay. You're supposed to put a sticker here, which I did not because they're ugly. And again, you've got the windows as I showed already with the same kind of artwork. So I guess that's a personal preference to a degree. But, you know, I'm reviewing this for adults and for adult purposes. This is not being looked at from a child's point of view. But I don't know if I'd necessarily give this to a young child, and they'd have to be pretty sophisticated and be able to handle this kind of stuff. I could see this having all sorts of problems if the child is too young. All this stuff can be easily broken and ripped off. It depends how sophisticated your children play, but all of these things. I mean, they have these clips on here that make these cannons look like they're firing. Well, all this stuff is easily ripped off. Where is that going to go? Well, it's going to get lost, and children are notorious for this. So all these little features here, which I will probably remove anyway for my type of use, who does that? How do your children play? Not only that, this is something that could easily be used as a weapon, stuck in someone's eyes, jabbed with. But of course, you can do that with anything. So it just depends, but you got to remember that if you have a young child that's fairly destructive or likes to play a little rough, well, getting them a sophisticated tool like this is probably not a good idea. And I don't know if you want to spend $120 on a tool for a 3 or 4-year-old. So again, it depends. Who is your kiddies? How do they play? What are you using this for? But as a person using this for practical wargame, you got all sorts of openings here. These are all areas where you can put personnel and actually combat tools. And this is something that can be shot at in a reasonable fashion to score points and other things. Now that's the whole view. That should give you a good idea of what the unit itself looks like, completed. And what we're going to do here next is I'm going to show you all the accessories up close and personal, where you can actually see what they look like, the figures, etc.